Welcome to the Flame and Fiber podcast. My name is Barbara. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Diva S. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the new subscribers since last we spoke. I haven't done a podcast in about 6 weeks and it feels like forever. And now I have to move my chair. That's better. Anyway, hello everyone. I hope you are all well. Some of you have been watching my vlogs. I have vlogged daily. I did put up my 337th daily vlog this morning. But I do understand that many people are not interested in hearing me every day or have, you know, better things to do with their time because I do have a tendency to go on and on. And since I'm in Corona lockdown, you know, not that much interesting stuff is happening. So it is Sunday, February 28th. I wanted to do a podcast in February, and I have managed it barely managed it. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I was able to visit my parents yesterday for the first time in their apartment in a year. I did see them twice since the beginning of March last year on their patio at they live in a personal care, like it's called. And we were able to visit on my father's birthday in August and my mother's birthday in October on their patio because it was nice weather. But everybody's been vaccinated at their place, all the workers and all the residents, so they are now able to have guests in their apartments for the first time in a year. So my niece and I went. My niece is staying with her parents out on the farm. My brother John and his wife are living on the farm. And Janine has been there with them. And so I was able to see her, and she hadn't seen the parents yet. And so the two of us went over. They were limiting it to 2 people at a time. 2 of us went over and had a very nice visit. It was so good to see them. And they are doing well. I'm so grateful that they're in this place during COVID, so we don't have to worry about them. And it's a new facility. They were one of the first residents to move in September of 2019. So they're a new facility. So they were only a third full when COVID hit and everything shut down. So it felt like having them in a not completely full place was really good for COVID. And so that has made it easier to think about them. I don't have to worry about them. They're taking good care, and they were early on the list for places getting vaccinated, so that's good too. Dennis and I and Aura are all on a waiting list to get vaccinations, and who knows. We signed up with our county. 189 people signed up with our county. They're getting 4,000 shots a week. So the math on that is 44 weeks. Now, we are in the first group that's eligible because of our age, and there were 98,000 people in our group. So we won't have to wait 44 weeks. But at 25 weeks is certainly a possibility, unless things change. According to their notification, they are now vaccinating the people who signed up in the first week of January. So we signed up in the first week in February, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, the parents are doing great, and it was so nice to be able to see them. I cannot tell you how grateful I was to be able to do that. So that's what I did yesterday. For some reason, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because I have to organize myself. I apparently don't want to organize myself. I don't want to think about things. You know, I've been doing relatively simple knitting, and I have to get organized to do a podcast. And so I've been putting it off for 2 weeks. I had planned to do one in the middle of February, but as I told Dennis, I wanted to do one in February, and I'm doing it. It's the 28th. Oh, well. it's not like I don't love to talk. I do. But I put makeup on. I fixed my hair. If you saw my vlog this morning, I look like Albert Einstein. I fixed my hair. I put makeup on. So, you know, I zhuzhed up for you guys, which in a way that I do not do for the vlog. I'm afraid the vlog is me rolling out of bed, getting a cup of coffee and just talking. Although I do occasionally show my knitting and my crafting and things like that. I have been doing that. I wrote notes. I'm going to get my notes out. My poor book. This is my podcast notebook, Cosmopolitan, but it has been loved by one or more of my dogs over the years. The first podcast I put in here was number... Oh, well, I lost the first pages. Episode 5. Oh, so this was pretty early. No. Episode 5. May 21st. No. 2018? No. June 11th was episode 53. So, oh, what is this episode, though, now that I'm saying that? Because I am closing, 96. I am closing in on 100. I'm not counting my vlogs as podcast episodes. So, I am... By summertime, I will be having my 100th podcast. The rate I'm going, who knows, you know, because I apparently don't, you know. I'm apparently procrastinating something terrible. But I have FOs. My last podcast, I think, was like January 10th, something like that. And I had started my Archer sweater. And I discussed my Archer sweater as a whip in my last podcast. And here it is, up close and personal. But I did a little video of me standing back wearing it so you can see what it looks like. Even though you can see my messy room, you can see my beautiful Archer. So I am so happy with how this fits. It's a little looser than I expected, but it's so comfy. And I'm really, really happy with how it looks. I think the colors turned out great. And I'm so excited. It is not a warm, super warm winter sweater. It is a fall sweater. And, or spring, which is coming. Apparently, I'm into the high-low thing going on. But there's my Archer, Elizabeth Doherty. I'm really excited about it. So, that's me wearing it. This is it up close. It turned out so great. I have 3 different yarns in this. This was one where I was feeling like I wanted red or pink, and I went to my stash, which has reds and oranges, you can see. I do not have a bunch of pink, and I don't have, you know, I didn't have many reds, and I have 1 or 2 scattered skeins. So I went to my stash to look for a red or pink sweater, and I came up with this. So it was close enough, and it really brought me joy to knit it, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. This is by Elizabeth Doherty, the pattern, and I had had my eye on it for quite some time, and so I just took the plunge and did it. I really love the sweater. I think it looks good. I had a little trouble under the arms doing the 3 colors, and then that braid, that's a braid that goes across there that I, you know, went from one yarn to the next yarn with the braid in the middle, and I had a little trouble figuring out where I was and what I was doing when I got to the underarms, but I was able to fix them, no problem, and it looks gorgeous, and I really, really like it. It is not a super warm sweater. I wore it the other day with a shawl around my neck, and it was okay. We keep our house at 66 at this time of the year, so I need something warmish because I get chilly. So anyway, the yarns in this are, the top yarn was a yarn box yarn, and it's a very fancy pantsy yarn. It is from the Buffalo Wool Company, and it was a yarn box yarn. It was a Luxe box, yarn Luxe box, and I got 2 skeins of this, 2 50-gram skeins of this in my yarn box, Luxe box. So you can, you know, I think someone looked it up and it was like $35 a skein, a 50-gram skein. You can still buy this. It is 50% bison down, 50% silk, and it is a really, really yummy yarn. But, you know, I haven't been a member of Yarn Box for quite some time, so I got this. This sweater is deep stash. This sweater is deep stash. So that's what I put on the top of that. The color is Orange Red River. It's a rainy day, but I'm having Orange Red River. I love the color. I loved knitting the yarn. The yarn is not like so soft to the touch that you might expect for something that's 50% silk, but it is really, really lovely yarn. Very pricey. The bottom of this is Painted Desert in the color 26. And I had gotten this, I think I got this at my first foray into my local yarn shop back when I discovered I had one. And it has some of this same purple, and then I blended it or faded it down into the purple. The purple is a yarn, and I don't have the tag for that, and I apologize, is Greta and the Fiber. I don't know what the colorway name is. Greta and the Fiber, and I got that in Barcelona when Dennis and I were in Barcelona 3 or 4 years ago. So this is, and that's the yarn I've had the least amount of time. So this was deep stash. But this did bring me joy. We are doing the Ode to Joy knit along, which I'll talk about later. I do have, when I went to put it, I put it away. I, you know, washed and blocked it, and I put it in this room because I'm going to show it on my podcast. I don't want to mess it up. And then, you know, weeks went by and I didn't do that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not wearing my sweater. So I put it on, and then I remembered I have a stitch marker here because I dropped a stitch when I was doing the bind off, apparently. And so I still have to fix this. I'm sure I can find some of this yarn to fix it with, or whatever. It'll be fine, but I have a drop stitch I have to fix. But I really enjoyed knitting this. I love the yarns, and I'm really happy with how it fits. And I'm really happy to have it in my transition wardrobe because, as I said, it wasn't super, super warm for winter. But this is by Elizabeth Doherty, and it is a lovely, lovely, interesting pattern. I love the arch, and that's fun. Okay, so next is my Not Too Much. And I made I did a little video of me standing up, so I'll put that here. And here is my Not Too Much cranberry. I am in love with this sweater. I love, love, love the turtleneck. The yarn is yummy, yummy, yummy. And I made the back and the front very different. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think I was just like, wanted to cast off the front, and I didn't realize how much shorter it was. I'm going to wear it for a little while. I have a little bit more cranberry that I could lengthen the front if I want to, but the front is actually a good length, so I may just see if I get used to that. I'm really happy with this. So here's my not too much. And this is beautiful yarn, and I could have a tag for this yarn. This is CATT Lady yarn. She had I thought I might have one at the bottom of my bag here, but I apparently don't. I am so sorry. Andrea, the CATT Lady, had posted, I'm still looking because there might be some around here. Ah, there is! I found one because this is my winding station. Andrea, the CATT Lady, I follow her on Instagram, and she had posted the some pictures of her Advent kind of thing. She had did 12 Days of Christmas or something, I'm not sure, and I did not participate in that. And when I saw the cranberries, I was like, oh my gosh, I want that. So, because I was in that red and pink mood, and I saw this color, and I'm like, OMG, this is exactly what I want. So this is her, the CATT Lady, yarn design, and she has a podcast. And I got it in the DK. This is Positively Squishy, Positively, P-A-W-S, ha ha ha. Squishy, CATT Lady, right, got it. Squishy DK, 100% superwash merino in the colorway cranberries. So I contacted her and I said, I want that cranberries. I want to make a sweater. And I had made this sweater before. This is the Not Too Much by Hinterm Stein. And I had made one of these sweaters. And it's funny because I had made it like the first week of January, 2 or 3 years ago. And I had just knocked it out. It's the one where I made the beautiful chili knits, bright, you know, yoke and then gray bottom. I wear it all the time. And when I made it, I knew I was going to make another one because there was something about it, you know. And so I decided to make the turtleneck version. I love. And because I've been wanting things up around my neck. I've been chilly this winter. It's been a chilly winter in my house. And so now it has a little bit of a design down the front, which you can't really see very well. I added the front. The design in the pattern is just in the back, and it also goes down the sleeves, but it's an extremely subtle design. I forget what she calls that stitch, but it's an extremely subtle design. And it doesn't show up very well with this yarn. I don't care. I put it in, and I added it to the front. It's in the back and the front and both sleeves. And it's a fun little stitch, and so I figure why not. And on my notes from my last one said, next time I do this, I'm putting the design in the front too. I'm currently not a fan of put the cool stuff in the back of the sweater. I want to see it, you know, personally. I'm not going anywhere. Nobody else is going to see it. If I'm not looking at it, then forget it. So I put it in the front. I am so happy with this sweater. It turned out so cute. Like I said in my little video, I may have made the front a tad too short vis-a-vis the back because the difference between the front and the back seems bigger than I had pictured. But I think the front is long enough. I mean, it comes to a good place. And so I'm going to wear it this way and see what I think. That's my plan. But I absolutely love this yarn. It is so squishy and wonderful. Thank you, Andrea. OMG. Really, really big, bold sweater that I'm really happy with. Let me see. Did I make any more notes about this other than a love, love, love? I did make a little mistake on the design in front, but since you can't see the design anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't need that mistake to help me tell the front from the back. I sometimes have trouble, but the hem tells me when I'm the front and the back, which is very helpful. It's another reason to do a high-low hem. Because I have several sweaters that it's really hard for me to know if I'm, you know, which is the front and which is the back. On some level, I figure if I can't tell, then it doesn't matter. But you know, like my boxies. I have a terrible time figuring out which is the front and back of my boxies. I have 2 boxies. Anyway, so those are my 2 sweater finished objects. And I did a hat. This is the Northbound hat. And I don't remember who designed it. That's terrible. I'll put it up here. I'll turn this around because I'm obviously showing you the wrong side. I'll put it here. I'll look it up. Northbound hats. Northbound. This is the Northbound. And I have worn it every day since I finished it. I did not block it. I probably should have. And I made this pom-pom. And I just put the pom-pom on real quick just to see if it would work. Because I wear hoods in the winter. And I was afraid the pom-pom would inhibit the hood. So I put it on, just tied it. And it works. So I'm going to have to put that pom-pom on a little stronger before it pulls itself free. Is this the cutest thing ever? I'm so happy. This is my first pom-pom hat. I'm shocked to tell you. This is my first pom-pom hat that I have ever made. Isn't that funny? For myself. I think it's the first pom-pom hat I've ever owned. I don't know that I ever bought one before I was a knitter. Anyway, it turned out so cute, and I love, love, love it. That yarn is from Knit Crate. And it's I thought mine had my Knit Crate here. Nope. Somewhere there's another skein of this yarn, but I guess I don't know where that is because I thought that bag was Knit Crate. Turned out it wasn't. I have a lot of bags here. I need to get organized. See, getting organized is one of the things I need to do when I do my podcast, and apparently that's another thing I don't want to do. Oh no, that's the same thing. Isn't that what I said? Anyway, this is made out of Knit Crate yarn, and I've subscribed to Knit Crate, and so I've gotten a couple of packages. I think this was my second package, maybe my third. I've shown you the other ones and I can't find the other skein of this, so you're going to have to go with this. But it's the Knit Crate brand yarn, and it's really lovely, and it's got a nice sheen to it. And you can see the sheen maybe a little bit better in the pom-pom. It's got some silk in it. Anyway, it's really nice. So I enjoyed that. I was in the middle of all these sweaters, and I guess I just wanted to do something else, and I did it real quick. You know, one weekend I, made myself a hat. I am doing personal knitting these days. So the hat's for me. So this is my third finished object. I'm so sorry I can't remember who designed this, but I'll put it down here. I think somebody actually recommended this pattern to me too, so thank you to whoever did that. But of course I can't remember that either. Okay, so I have a few whips that I would like to show you. The first whip is a little bit strange to call it a whip because I did not work on it this past month since my last podcast. But I forgot to talk about it in my last podcast. And I wanted to tell you about my Francis wrap. My Francis wrap has a bit of a story. This is my Francis wrap. This is the pattern. And it's a little fold out. Isn't it elegant? So this is the Francis wrap. Now, who wouldn't want to own that wrap? I'm picturing myself on a yacht. I somehow don't think that's going to happen. But this is the Francis wrap, and I have this elegant little pattern because I got this in a Yarn Box Luxe package back in the day. So I've had this for a very long time. I think this may have been one of the first or second Luxe, wasn't the first, maybe the second or third Luxe box I got. And so this was from 5 years ago or more. I was a relatively new knitter when I got this pattern. And I really fell in love with this pattern. The yarn is Blue Sky Alpaca is the name of the company. Naturally occurring shades of baby alpaca blended with the luster of mulberry silk. And it comes in little 50-gram balls. And I think we got 2 balls of this and 2 of a different kind of yarn from Blue Sky. But this pattern calls for quite a few, much more yarn than what we got. I couldn't do the pattern with the it's a 3-color wrap, and it takes 3 skeins of each color to do the wrap. There is a scarf version which is much thinner and smaller, and it takes 1 skein of each, but I liked the wrap. So this was the first pattern that I went out and I bought the yarn specifically for the pattern, and it was a lot of money. And I had never done that before. It was my very first foray into luxury yarns that cost money. So I had no idea what I was doing. It had a very interesting cast on, although it did, I complained in later years that it didn't tell you what kind of cast on it was, but when I reread this, it did. It uses a tubular cast on. And 3 colors, so it's in Tarja. And it turns out that it's double knit. There's nowhere on this pattern that it says you're doing double knit. You're double knitting. So it's this very, very weird cast on with this really strange way of knitting. And I was a brand new knitter, and I had trouble changing colors, and I had trouble with the cast on, and anyway, I tried, and I tried, and I tried. And eventually, I gave up. I went to a yarn retreat in Lancaster, Pennsylvania 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I think it was. And they had a, little show and tell about, issues you've had, or, stories, knitting stories. And I brought this wrap as my knitting story. And I told the story about how I, it didn't tell me what kind of cast on it was, which turned out to be a lie. And I didn't know what I was doing, and, so I couldn't look up videos, and, complain. And I showed them what I had, and I said, I picked up this again to start over and try again the last time I did this. And my notes on my Ravelry page for this wrap said, 6th time the charm. I had literally started it 6 times up to the point where I was talking about it 3 years ago. And I had done it pretty well, but I got the cast on to look pretty good, and I got the color changes to look pretty good, and I showed it, and it was only about an inch long, and I laughed when I pulled it out, and I said, when I went to find this and saw that it was only an inch long, I was shocked, because I pictured it like 6 inches, like I'd been knitting forever. I thought it was at least 6 inches. It wasn't. It was only an inch. I said, and the reason I stopped knitting on it was because I got this far, and it looked pretty good, and then I realized that I got the colors in the wrong order. And that's it. And I looked at it and tried to decide if I could keep going with the wrong order, would I be happy? And I wanted it to look like the picture, and I just put it away. So I took it out and told this story 3 years ago. And when I was done telling the story, I frogged it and I put it away. Well, this year, this January, I think it was January, I decided I was going to try again. Because it's beautiful, beautiful yarn. I mean, just gorgeous, luscious yarn, which I will show you in a minute, but I'm looking for my notes. Oh, I didn't put a date. It was one of the first things I wrote about, though. So, the first week in January, I'm pretty sure. The second week in January, I got this out. No, or even the end of February. And decided I was going to start again. So, it takes 3 colors of this Metallico, which is the softest, most elegant, most delicious looking yarn you're ever gonna knit with. I dare you to find anything more soft and luscious than this. Now, keeping in mind, I have frogged this yarn 6 times. I didn't get very far in any of the things, when I had frogged them, but 6 times. It actually held up pretty well considering the abuse. But anyway, so I forgot to show you my Francis wrap. Look how far I am. This is my Francis wrap. I haven't knit on it in a while, and I need to get back to knitting on it. But it is so luscious and lovely, and I'm just picturing myself on a cruise or something. I may never ever go on a cruise again. But I am really happy with it. My only problem with it is it actually isn't that wide. So it's a wrap, not a shawl. I don't know. Anyway, I love it. I'm working on it. I'm doing double knitting. I've had no problem switching my colors, and I do have some ends to weave in, as you can see, and it's double knit, so there's no good and bad side. But it's all, you're always only knitting with one color. There's not like the front and the back of the double knit or different colors. They aren't. So this wrap is gorgeous. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I put makeup on. Gorgeous, lovely. And I love it, and I'm glad to be reminded that I'm working on this because, double knit is actually easy knitting once it's all set up and you know what you're doing. So this could be easy knitting by my chair if I wanted to do. But that's the Francis wrap, and where did I put the pattern? And I didn't write down who the designer is. Elizabeth Maunz-Redmann, M-A-U-T-Z Redmann. So I will put that on the screen. But I got it in hard copy in this cute little twisty thing. That makes me want to go on a yacht. Don't we all? Maybe not. If you get seasick, you might not want to. But anyway, these are, here's my little ends that I'll use if I need to from my, I've got lots of it. It's the first time I spent big bucks on yarn, and it's been waiting quite a while, but maybe if I get a chance to plan a vacation, I will be motivated to go out and do something with that. One of my other whips, and I have quite a few whips. I have apparently been in the mood to pass things on. After my last podcast where I showed you my shawl, I kind of started because I wanted to do a linen stitch. Sarah Pomegranate, Sarah Bauer, who is has a wonderful audio podcast, The Yarns at Yinhu, messaged me and said, if you want to do a linen stitch, there is a lovely pattern, free pattern called Flickerl, that you can make a beautiful scarf, and it works really well with scraps and minis and things like that. So I'm like, yay. So I went out and got this. And I'm trying to see Simone Eich, E-I-C-H. It's Flickerl, F-L-I-C-K-E-R-L is the pattern, and it's free. And so I started that. I had a lot of trouble figuring out where I was, so I'm using my row counter to help me. But it is beautiful on both sides, which I really, really like. And it is a lovely linen stitch. And it uses scraps and minis. So thank you so much, Sarah. Oh my gosh. And this is so cute. And I'm doing the fringy version, as you can see. And it is so cute. And it, like I said, it is beautiful on both sides. So, isn't that fun? I do love a linen, the look of a linen stitch. So, that's a whip. And I've got lots of little pieces of minis and things. I'm putting this is using up the final last scraps that I have left of the beautiful yarns that I got from Megan for my Advent and from the Crafty Toads. Because I made the cowl, the heart and cowl, and I made the backbone sweater that I held double with that mohair, which I featured on my last podcast. And so I still had little tiny bits and pieces of those minis still after all that knitting. And I do want to use them up. But the ones that only have a little bit left, I have to put them at the small end of the shawl because it's going to get bigger as I go along. And so once it gets bigger, the stripes are going to need bigger balls to fix them. But the stripes are 4 rows. Each color is 4 rows. So anyway, I really enjoyed that. And thank you so much, Sarah, for pointing me in the way of the Flickerl. That was a crazy fun thing to discover, and I am enjoying the linen stitch. Although I do have to think about, that's one of the things I do have to think about it, just because of the color changes and the pattern. So I only knit on that when I'm really motivated to get into the little minis and the different colors, which every once in a while you just want to do. My next whip is my Bistro Sweater. Now I haven't worked, I have, my Silverling is also in the works, but I did not work on it this month. And I'm getting a little bit of cast-on-itis. But I got a beautiful gift from the lovely Valerie. After I had done the backbone sweater with that mohair, I was speculating because I had seen that some dyers are using alpaca instead of mohair in their fuzzy yarns. And so the wonderful Valerie sent me a skein of this beautiful yarn. And I don't see the alpaca. I don't see the alpaca tag, but this is from Treehouse Knits, which is hand-dyed in Austin, where Valerie is. Luckily, they have their power back. Oh my gosh, that's been a terrible thing. So Treehouse Knits, hand knit in Austin, Texas, and Valerie is Austin. So she has been doing wonderful, supporting these wonderful dyers and thinking of me. So that was so sweet. So she sent me this skein of Gorgeousness, which is baby alpaca and silk instead of mohair. And it's lovely and soft and furry. And it's from Treehouse Knits. Well, when I got this from Treehouse Knits, I also got a 20% off coupon from Treehouse Knits saying, oh, on your next purchase. I'm like, okay. So I decided I have this beautiful alpaca. I need to do something with it. And so I got myself a sweater's quantity. And the Vineyard, OMG, is that not absolutely stunningly gorgeous? That's the color Valerie gave me. So this is what I got. I got worsted, 100% merino in the Vineyard colorway from Treehouse Knits. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So I've been, you know, liking the close to the neck, so I decided to, oops, I decided to, when you don't have, when you don't have any paper to take notes, you put it on your pattern, called the Bistro, and this is by Fogbound Knits, and it has a mock turtleneck. And it has 3/4 sleeves. I have several heavy sweaters that are 3/4 sleeves. I think the backbone that I did with the holding the mohair with my minis was also 3/4 sleeves. But anyway, I'm going to make it long sleeve. I have enough yarn to make it long sleeve. But it turned out, you know, and I thought, oh, this would be perfect to show off that yarn. And I'll have a nice high neck and it'll be lovely. But then I had this dilemma because I wanted to use the mohair. So I was going to show you my swatch, but I think I took my swatch apart. So I swatched it with the mohair with the worsted, and you couldn't really see, because the mohair is exactly the same color as the worsted, you couldn't really see the mohair. So I swatched it holding the mohair double and not using the worsted, and I really liked the look of that. So I decided to get all fancy schmancy. And I'm doing the Bistro, and it's so subtle, but I'm putting, I have lipstick on it now, I've got mohair in it. I'm putting a stripe of worsted and then a stripe of the mohair, a stripe of worsted, stripe of mohair going down the front of this sweater. Now I'm just doing the worsted in the back because I just have the one skein of the alpaca, and so I wanted to use it to its full advantage. So I just am putting the stripes on the front. Well, those of you who are knitters know that that is logistically interesting, because it's basically intarsia in the round, which someone gave me a video for that, which I haven't watched yet, so that will be interesting to see. But anyway, I started out, I should have a holder on this, which I do not. I started out, I'm going to turn this inside out so you can see what I was doing. I started out by breaking the yarn at the beginning and end of each row. Set of rows. So I have all these ends. Now these ends I've woven in using the Stephen West style, so I don't have to weave these in. I just have to cut them. But as I got to the end, and that, you know, so in the front I had, you know, 2 ends for every row on the front of this sweater. Either, you know, the of the mohair. I was able to, now I don't remember what I was doing because I changed what I was doing. yeah, so my other ends were with worsted. So anyway, I had 36 ends for every set of 2, because I'm holding 2, the mohair doubled. 36 ends for every set of, you know, stripes. Anyway, sorry. So then the more I thought about that, the less happy I was about that. So I started thinking about it, and then I realized if I knit a flap of the mohair and then I picked up and knit a flap going the other way of the worsted, then I wouldn't have to have all those ends. I still have a few ends because I keep forgetting to carry up my yarn, but I wouldn't have all those ends. And I know that doesn't make any sense, but what it does do is it leaves holes here. So I've done 3 sets of that, and it's worked beautifully. Now, someone said I should be picking up the stitches as I go, and I'll tell you, one of the nights I had insomnia, I sat there in my mind and tried to picture how I would do that, and I wasn't sure, so I have to think about that more and get do more research. But anyway, so I have those to sew up, but I now have many, many fewer ends. If I can remember to carry up my yarn, I've even started remembering to carry my mohair up. I wasn't remembering that, so I did have some ends. But anyway, I know this is incoherent, relatively incoherent, and I apologize for that. So I'm putting stripes of the alpaca down the front of my sweater, and I'm pretty far. This is my underarm. So I have 6 inches more to go, maybe not even, of this body of this sweater. But I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough of the alpaca, so I went and I did my mock turtleneck in the alpaca, held double, and I really love that. And so, and then I started weighing the alpaca as I was doing my stripes, and each one is taking about 4 grams. Each stripe is taking about 4 grams, and so I have more than enough of this alpaca to finish the body. And I think I'll try, and I'm gonna, my current plan is to do the bottom ribbing in the alpaca and possibly the bottom ribbing of the sleeves. Although I will think about the logistics of having the bottom of my sleeves have the fuzz. Probably be okay. I think that'll be okay. So anyway, I am so in love with this look, with this color, with the yarn. Treehouse Knits. Thank you so much, Valerie, for turning me on to her and getting me the discount code and the beautiful alpaca. And I haven't worked on this in the last few days, and I need to get back to it because I want to wear this sweater, and it's, you know, tomorrow's March. It's going to be spring soon. That's my optimistic side. So that is my knitting whip. My knitting whip. One of my knitting whips. But that's the end of my knitting whips that are at this moment feeling like official whips in knitting. But I have been doing stitching. So when last we spoke, I told you all about my temperature library that I'm doing with my daughter, Kristi, who has Kristi's Corner floss tube, which is so lovely. I will put a link to it below if you want to watch. She is a wonderful, talented woman. And she designed a temperature library, and the temperature stitching is very similar to, there are knitting patterns that are temperature patterns, and basically you associate colors with temperatures, and you do a stripe or a book or a leaf or something in that color each day to signify the changes in temperature where you are, and you do it for a whole year. Well, this is Kristi's temperature library that she designed that I am working on with her. I will be putting the last 7 books in February on that second shelf tonight when I do my crafting with Kristi. And I'm pretty tickled with how this looks. I do not have a huge range of colors. I have decided to replace this little purpley color, the second color. There are 2 books in that color. I am going to take them out and replace them because I started out, my plan was that I was going to use my Advent flosses. I had gotten 2 Advent flosses from DeVere Yarn in Great Britain. I got the wool one and the silk one. Well, the silk, I didn't know what I was doing, and I did no research because, you know, just buy. The silk I got was the thinnest filament of silk you can imagine. And I'm not an embroiderer, and I was finding that silk was not a joy to use. So I decided to change my plan. Here I am changing my plan in the middle of February. But it turns out that that's okay. So I sent all those silks to my daughter in case she can use them, because she's an embroiderer and I know I don't want them. I kept 2 colors. I kept this purple, which is mulberry, and I kept this blue, which is sax. I'm still on the fence about what to do about the sax. I do have 1 book this week that's going to be sax, and I think I'll do it in the sax because I have been using the sax. But otherwise, I took all the silk colors out of my color array for the year because there were lots of beautiful silks, because of course silk, in my plan. But then I decided I don't want to do silk, so I got getting rid of the silk. I already did. Kristi already got it. So I went through this week and I redid my colors. So this is my new temperatures for my temperature library, and I even found a color that was close to the sax. That is a DMC color. I think I have 1 sax book in February. I think I'm going to use the actual sax because I did keep it. But the wools I love. So I'm using the wools and I'm using some DMCs. And so these are my colors. So for this week, I have 1 color in the sax, 1 book in the rooster, 1 book in this new color, which is going to replace that purple silk that I'm going to take out. This is called Caper. 1 book in the Caper, and then 4 books in maroon. That's what this week is going to be. So I might just use the sax for the 1 book, and then February will all have the actual silk sax, and then I might just substitute the other one, or just keep it and have the sax be my penance for not doing any research and ending up with 24 gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous silk flosses I can't use. But Kristi can use them. So these are my colors for my temperature library. I have not used this blue yet because this is, and my my temperature that I'm doing is whatever the temperature is when we walk the dogs. So it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's not the high of the day, it's when we walk the dogs. So those are the temperatures that I'm using. So here's my new temperatures. And here's how my library looks. I have done a tiny little bit on the bookshelf itself, but not very much. And I didn't do my little bowl yet, and I need to think about the color I want my bowl. But I zhuzhed up my books, and I did a few things, and I'm really kind of happy with it, I have to say. And I think I'm going to be much happier with it when I don't have to use that silk. Because this is also something that I want to bring me joy, because it's so much fun. People are doing, she has a cross-stitch version of this that is so cute. People are doing that one. It's really adorable. And she has a knick-knack expansion pack for the cross-stitch version where you can change out like that bowl in February and all, you know, the other knick-knacks that are on there, you can change them out. She has all different colors. It's really cute. to personalize your bookshelves. And though that expansion pack will work for next year's too, she's going to make sure that that's what happens. Well, so now she's like getting excited about doing patterns and things, and she has software to, you know, that she can use to help her with her designs for cross stitch. So she's doing other cross stitch designs. This is this is one of her latest designs. This is the Harpy and the Dragon. And this is from a 15th century, 16th century lace pattern book that she has designed for cross stitch. And I got a preview copy of that and I started working on it, but it is now released if you're interested. I started on the Dragon and then I didn't get as far as I had hoped. But here is me cross-stitching Kristi's Dragon. I've got the tail and the wing, and now I'm getting into the body, and I'm so excited. So I've been doing cross-stitch this past month, which, you know, I wasn't doing much in the way of cross-stitch, so that's so much fun. But that's a dragon tail. It swirls around like that, and then the wing. And now I'm getting up into the body. It uses 3 colors of DMC. And the next one she said was going to, oh, she told me and now I don't remember. Brats, sorry. She told me she's working on the next one and she's going to use other colors. I think she's going to use reds, she said. Rats, I can't remember what it's going to be. But it sounded good, so I will get that too. Being her mother, I get preview copies and it's so much fun. So I've been working on my crosses. So I've been doing a little bit of embroidery because I'm keeping up with my library. And I've been doing some cross stitch, and I did a little cross stitch, and I'm pretty sure I did this since I talked to you last. But I finished the center panel of my Dragons of Sumatra and have started on the next panel. I really love this one too. Isn't that beautiful? Let me show you the... This is what it's going to look like. And I started in the middle. So I did the middle panel. So I did this panel and now I'm doing up here. And this is silk. So it's not like I don't like silk. That silk I bought was so thin. I mean, it was so thin. I'll be really interested to see what Kristi does with it because it was so thin. So it's not like I don't like silk. I don't want you to misunderstand my issue there. So, and I have lots of goodies. Jake from Dogstar Knits has started dyeing yarn again. Yay! And I'm pretty sure, let me just check. My notes aren't terribly good, but I'm pretty sure that I did not show you this. So anyway, Jake is back dyeing, which was very exciting. And actually I saw yesterday he put up a video, but I was busy with my parents and didn't get a chance to see it yet. And so I'm very excited. So I got a package. I got a gift from Jake. He was getting ready, going through his stuff, cleaning out. He sent me this. He sent me 2 skeins of this. This is Flamin' Fiber. This was yarn that he designed for me as a giveaway for my 300th subscriber. So this was 3 years ago? 4 years ago. In May, I met him. And then he made me this. I got to 300 subscribers like in June or July 4 years ago. Because I'll be having my 5th anniversary in September. And he made this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn for me. And I gave it away at the time. And I kept one for myself and made a beautiful pair of socks that I love dearly. And he sent me 2 skeins of this. So one of them's for me, and one of them will be a giveaway for the Ode to Joy make-along. Now, I guess I'll just talk about the Ode to Joy make-along right now. We are doing, we started it in the vlog group. Those of you who watch the vlog know, but I think I talked about it in my last podcast, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure, and I'm not going to look it up again anyway. But basically, the rules for the Ode to Joy make-along are, if you're making something, crafting, or making anything, and it's bringing you joy, it counts. There's 1 thread on Ravelry for chatter, for pictures, for showing what you're doing. I posted my watercolors on there. If you're, I don't even know, if you're making scrapbooks for your stamp collection, whatever you're doing, knitting, crochet, spinning, weaving, felting, sewing, painting, anything that you're making that is bringing you joy, it counts, because we really, really, really need to be working on bringing joy into our lives these days. And I sincerely want to support that. And we have a hashtag Ode to Joy MAL that we're using on Instagram. And I don't know if you can use it on Ravelry. I don't actually follow hashtags on Ravelry. I don't know how to do that. But if you're on Instagram, please use that hashtag Ode to Joy MAL, make along. And if you're making something then it counts. Whips count. Everything counts. If it's bringing you joy today when you're making it, it counts. And I would love to see a picture of it. It doesn't have to be finished. I would love to see what you're working on in that thread. And every month, I don't even know if it's going to be every month, but every month up to, I have things planned. We will be giving away a prize for people who are participating in the Ode to Joy make-along. And for February, we drew on Valentine's Day. The prize was, Valerie is such a lovely woman. She gave me a copy of what the prize package was. And it is this beautiful, beautiful bag. And the bag is by Jibbyroo Sews, and I'll put a link down below for Jibbyroo Sews. It's on Etsy, and the yarn is amazing sock set from Bente of Arctic Crafts by Bente. Isn't that gorgeous? So gorgeous. And of course it goes beautifully, and we gave it away on Valentine's Day, so of course, and that was from Bente, and that included this lovely stitch marker, and there's Arctic Crafts, that her Etsy shop, which I will link below. And the other thing was so cute. Now I'm taking it out of this bag now so I can use it finally. This little tiny piece of cake. Is that the cutest thing ever? So anyway, this was the prize, and the winner of this prize was Rebecca Acton, who really could use it. She had a terrible, terrible tragedy in December when her house burned down. So Bente is sending that to her, and I haven't heard if she's gotten it yet or not. Bente is sending me something. I bought a sweater's quantity of yarn in the color Skreek, which is Norwegian for the scream. It's based on the scream, so it's orange and colors, and oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. I can't wait for that. And so thank you, Bente, and thank you, Valerie, for the wonderful prize. And so Rebecca won that, and I did give away a pattern prize to Buckaroo, and Hilda. And she, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that every month. But it was the first month. Well, so I have a skein of Flame in Fiber as a prize for our Ode to Joy make-along. So please join us. It is so fun to follow that hashtag and see what you guys are working on. It just makes me smile. And post in the thread and check out what people are doing. People are doing some really lovely, lovely things. So that was a gift to me and you from Jake. But I have another prize, my March prize. Oh dear, I buried it. I buried my prize. My March prize was a wonderful, generous, unbelievably generous gift from Andrea, the cat lady. When I ordered my cranberry sweater, she, you know, I said it was going to bring me joy. Oops, your tea fell. Whoever wins this, your tea fell. I'll pick it up. And she sent along a prize package for the Ode to Joy make-along, which will be the March package. And I think I'm going to draw for the March package on March 20th, because March 20th will be the 1 year anniversary of me doing a daily vlog. Now I think I missed 3 days around the time when my father-in-law died. So it won't be the 365th vlog. It should be like the 362nd vlog. But it will be the 1 year anniversary on March 20th. So I think I will draw for the March prize on March 20th. So keep an eye out. But the prize is a lovely, lovely drawstring bag. Isn't that pretty? I love that in her yarn too. Very fall-like in my mind. And a needle keeper. It's pretty too. For keeping your needles safe. And a hand knit little mug rug, and I keep dropping things. Every time I pick something up, something else goes to the floor. And gorgeous, gorgeous yarn in the colorway Tainted Love. And this is Pretty Kitty Sparkle. Superwash, 84% superwash and 16% stellina. And baby, is this sparkly. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. Oh, you can't very well. It is very sparkly and beautiful. I love, love, love this color. I'm still kind of in my pink and red stage, so unfortunately I'm trying to have a no-buy year. So far I'm not doing great. March 1st, which is tomorrow. So if I'm going to order this, I guess I got to get it quick. And a cute little heart. And this is the prize pack. And there's a tea that I'll get off the floor. The prize package from Andrea, the cat lady. Is this not the most beautiful? Oh, I love this color. Anyway, so someone is very, very lucky. Someone will be very, very lucky on March 20th, because this will be the prize for the Ode to Joy. And thank you again so much, Andrea. That was so generous. Unbelievably generous. Unbelievably generous. And thank you, Jake. That was generous. And I'm hoping I can put the picture here, but the lovely Hilda Buckaroo has put together a beautiful sock knitting prize that she will be shipping from Australia for a prize package for our make-along. And it's so generous of her. Thank you, my dear. That was so, so sweet. And so we have a few prize packages, and I finally found that knit crate I was talking about. And this is the knit crate that I knit my hat out of. And that hat, the other skein of this was enough for that hat and the pom-pom. So you can make a hat out of this, and this will be a prize package. I guess I'm going to hold this till maybe the fall, because this is bulky and it's going to be, you know. And it is 70% merino, 20% kid mohair, and 10% silk. And I'm telling you, it's got such a beautiful sheen. So this is a prize. This one is from me. That's enough for a hat. And so we have a few prizes lined up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So we can, you know, I'll be giving out monthly prizes till the prizes run out, and then, you know, we'll see what happens after that. Because I am thinking about having a no-buy year of anything, not just yarn. I got so much stuff. I don't need anything. I can't think of anything I actually need. Obviously, if I actually need it, I will buy it. But, you know, I'm really trying to cut down. But luckily, before I decided to do that, Jake went back in business and he started dyeing yarn. So I did buy myself a couple of Dogstar Knits. So now we are in acquisitions or lovely goodies. We're in goodies. So I bought myself some Dogstar Knits. Isn't this a beautiful color? He calls this Maunz-Redmann, Oddities and Experiments. I just love the muted. This is like every color, but very muted. I just thought this was really beautiful. And this is a 75/25 sock yarn. I am not doing socks, although I'm thinking about casting on some socks with this beautiful yarn from Bente that Valerie gave me. I'm having a birthday cast on, and maybe I'll do that. My birthday's coming up in a couple weeks, and I may just do that as a treat. So who knows? I may get back into sock knitting, although this is, you know, I mean, how many skeins of sock yarn do you have that you're like, oh, this is too beautiful for socks? This comes under that category, although I wear my socks every day in the winter. I wear my socks every day. And this winter, I've been wearing a sweater every day, too, almost. Except when I'm shoveling. Isn't that gorgeous? And I also got this Serious Stargazing. Oh, you can see the sparkle in this, baby. It is a beautiful black with sparkle. And I just thought, you know, I do not have any dark neutrals in my stash. And I thought this needed to be in my stash, so I bought it. So, Dogstar Knits, back in business. I'll put the link below. I think I'm going to do a lot of linking today. I guess I'm feeling very ambitious. Who knows? So, as I said, it's my birthday coming up in a couple of weeks, which I shouldn't have been talking about, but I did. Because I started... I started doing watercolor in December, and I've really been enjoying it. It had talk about bringing me joy. And so I started buying watercolor stuff, and then Jake, I bought myself some yarn from Jake, and I kept, you know, and I bought this sweater, and I was realizing that these were my birthday present to myself, even though I was buying them 2 months in advance. And so I said that on, you know, on the podcast. And so you lovely people, lovely, Kathy sent me, I took the paints out of it. Lovely Kathy sent me watercolor paints, which I have now put in a palette and are no longer in this box. But this is a great box, so somebody may be getting a prize in this box. So that was so sweet of her. Kathy, thank you. And the wonderful Verena sent me a note saying, oh, you're getting a package. I didn't realize you didn't want more stuff. I sent you an early birthday present. Well, I had done a little evaluation of my wardrobe and realized I have nothing in my wardrobe that is orange. And I think that's probably because I thought orange didn't go well with my red hair back in the day. I didn't have much. I think that's also why I didn't have much pink. I had this idea from things I had read over the years that red hair doesn't go with these things. I'm like, as if I care. But anyway, I realized I didn't have any orange. And so I have put in an order for beautiful yarn from Bente, Arctic Crafts by Bente, in her Scream colorway. That is like a light orange with all different colors in it, because you can picture the painting of the Scream. And that yarn has not come yet. So, you know, I was having this conversation and talking about my birthday, and the wonderful, sweetest Verena sent me this yarn. Is this not the most amazing orange ever? The color name is Navel Orange, and I swear this looks like a navel orange. It is the most appropriately named yarn ever. And I cannot tell you how big my smile was, but tears to my eyes, this beautiful yarn. And this is Rising Tide Fiber Company. And this is 100% Peruvian Highland yarn. So this yarn is not like, you know, hug your face, soft or anything like that. But it is a beautiful yarn, and it is not scratchy. It is not scratchy. It is lovely. I already swatched it. It came Thursday. Tell a lie. It came Friday. I swatched it Friday night. I showed it yesterday morning. I blocked this. I washed and blocked it. I haven't checked it for gauge yet because I have decided I'm going to make it into a granito by Joji Locatelli. The granito has little pockets here. I have one that I made out of the Blacker Tamar yarn, you may recall. And it's a really comfortable, lovely, beautiful sweater, and I thought it would be gorgeous. As Leslie says, you know, I think I'm, you know, channeling my inner Gigi, but OMG, I am so in love with this color. Thank you so much, Verena. That is the sweetest, most generous thing in the world. You guys are so lovely. Happy birthday to me. So, talk about an early birthday present. OMG. I love this color. So, that was such a wonderful thing to get in the mail. I hope a color suits me because it's going to be there. I guarantee it. So I need to finish my bistro because it's a worsted. This is a fingering. So this will be, I could wear it in the spring better than that. So I need to finish my bistro. But I'm very far in my bistro. It just needs some attention. But is this not amazing? I don't have a bag for this yet. It's still, when this came, I said, oh, I'm expecting a package. He says, I think this is yours. It's pink. I'm like, you didn't order anything that's going to come in a pink bag? He said no. So anyway, that is, I am so lucky, OMG, just to be able, just to have friends like you guys, I'll tell you. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, thank you so much to all the generosity that has been shown me. And thank you for the prizes for the Ode to Joy make along. And oh my gosh, all the knitting joy that is ahead of me. And as I said, I've been doing watercolors. And I have really been enjoying doing my watercolors. And I'll show you a couple of my watercolors. After I got the lovely set of paints from Kathy, I I did some studies in the colors and saw what they get, and I made some little note cards. Aren't they cute? I'm really happy with them. I made quite a few. I was just sitting there. They're very, very fun to make. And I'm doing some things with pen and ink. Well, these have a pen on top of them too. Really like them. And then I've been doing some pictures based on some pictures that I've taken while I was on vacation. And this is a picture of a sunset off the porch at Mohonk Mountain House in upstate New York. And this is La Boca, which is a neighborhood in Buenos Aires. I'm like, what the heck is that green? Oh, it's a plant. I thought I messed up. And this is the view of a sunset off of the boat, the schooner we took in the Penobscot Bay. And this is the flamingos on a very, very, very briny lake in the Atacama Desert in Chile. That was a very reflective lake. That lake was so briny. And those flamingos, if you notice, they're not pink. I don't think there's any krill in that lake. I think they're eating some kind of plankton, or I don't even know what grows in that kind of briny lake. But those are some of my watercolors, and doing the watercolors has certainly brought me joy. And I will be doing more of that too. So that's what's happening with me and my crafting and the state of my knitting, and feeling low there. And life, you know, life goes on. Corona vlog is ongoing, and I have no idea how long that will be. Dennis and I do not have our vaccines and aren't likely to get them anytime soon. And so we're just being careful and hanging out. Aura is in our bubble, and Kim, although too many people are in Aura's bubble as far as we're concerned, but it's not up to us. We have been doing almost weekly musical evenings with Kim and Aura, and they come over for a beautiful dinner that Dennis makes them, and then we do music. We've seen 2 operas. We saw Turandot and Tosca last week. We saw Tosca, and spoiler alert, everybody's dead at the end. And we've done symphonies, and we did a Dolly Parton night, and we're queuing up for Aura has a couple things she wants to listen to and watch, and we have some some classical guitar CDs that we bought when we were in Barcelona that we would like them to hear, and so we have more musical evenings planned. But anyway, so that's what's happening with us. I hope you are well. I hope you're taking very good care of yourselves. And you are managing in the current environment. It's not always easy to do, I know. So I hope that you have lots and lots of time to do the crafting that brings you joy. And please tell us about it, because the Ode to Joy make-along is all about that. Please, please craft with joy. I stopped doing a few things that weren't making me happy. Like I gave Kristi that silk. I'm like, this isn't bringing me joy. I don't care what I decided to do in the beginning. I'm changing my mind. So please join us in the Ode to Joy make-along, and please take good care of yourselves and be careful. And I will talk to you tomorrow or next month. But the next drawing for the Ode to Joy make-along will be on March 20th. March 20th is also the day of our next Zoom knit along. We've been having a monthly Zoom knit along. We've had 2, and the next one is scheduled for March. There's a thread on Ravelry with a link to the Zoom meeting. It'll be 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on March 20th. And so please think about joining us then, and I hope to see you. Meanwhile, please, please craft with joy, and I will talk to you next month.